I think money is often an overlooked pillar of power, particularly for people in the US, given how central the US dollar is to everything around the world. In the US, you don't really notice it because you use the US dollar, but for someone to use the US dollar when they're transacting overseas is a bit different. And the US is effectively in a uniquely powerful position with the US dollar as a global reserve currency, which is the foundation of the current interconnected global system, and US Treasuries as the global reserve asset. But as we've highlighted, this current order is being challenged. And you see it every day with things like the BRICS currency development, as well as China and Russia net settling oil trade and gold. The chart on the left really highlights the potential shift from US Treasuries as a core reserve asset, shifting towards gold. And as we've highlighted before, financing all of these technological innovations is going to require a lot of money. And this development of technology is essentially a must-have. It's a national security concern, not a nice-to-have. And so the spending really comes at a time when most major sovereign governments worldwide have relatively high debt to GDP. And if you combine that with the fact that the money that is necessary to spend on both tech and energy, I think monetary debasement is effectively, in the interim, seems inevitable. A lot of this is going to have to be monetized, and our view as a balancer within this portfolio is to hedge this monetary debasement with assets like gold and or Bitcoin, as well as their derivatives, as effectively we'll get into it in a bit, but technology plus energy plus money are, as we've noted, the pillars of power, but also create this kind of naturally balanced portfolio. Shifting to the next slide, just trying to make sure we have enough time for questions. This highlights where debt to GDP is in the US. It's close to 120%, spending $1 trillion a year just on interest. As you can see, this happens throughout history, and it tends to lead to periods of fiscal dominance, followed by monetary dominance, followed by fiscal dominance. And all of this tends to go in roughly 80 to 100-year cycles, and we just happen to be at a transition point. The resolution tends to be technological and or energy innovation, and or just shifting to a new world order. We'll delve a little bit more into this into the information memo, but suffice it to say, money is a critical component as it pertains to all of the pillars of power. And we recognize it as something that kind of fits naturally within the portfolio.